Chosen one, stop scrolling. God said, say this tonight and your life will not stay the same. You didn't stumble into this by chance. You were led here. This moment was appointed, and if you feel that urgency rising in your chest like something is pressing on your spirit, that's not anxiety, that's alignment activating right now. Because for a long time, you've been praying, waiting, trying to stay patient, and quietly asking, why isn't anything moving? Let me tell you what I learned the hard way. It was never that God wasn't listening. It was that the frequency hadn't clicked into place yet. The signal wasn't fully turned on. And tonight changes that. One sentence, spoken with real belief, can shift what has been delayed for years. If this is for you, brace yourself for sudden clarity, unexpected messages, and doors opening faster than your mind can explain. People will start responding to you differently. Opportunities will start recognizing you, not because you forced anything, because you're finally in alignment. And before we go any further, like this video, subscribe, and comment 99 to lock this in, because Chosen One, you are not here to almost receive. You are here to step into it. Don't ignore this. Tonight is a turning point. Tonight is not like any other night. There is a divine instruction being whispered into the hearts of the ones who are finally ready to hear it, a message meant for this exact moment in your timeline. God is calling you to move now, not through some mystical magic, but through something far more powerful. Authority, acceptance, ownership, a language that cuts through fear, a language that silences doubt, a language that breaks the old limits that have kept your spirit trapped in waiting mode. And I want you to picture this. A key in your hand, one you didn't even know existed, capable of opening doors you've walked past your whole life, doors that lead to clarity, purpose, and alignment with your higher self. Tonight, that key is yours. These are not ordinary words. These are sacred instructions. They were hidden not to keep you out, but to keep the unready from misusing what they couldn't carry. Because this language carries a frequency so strong, it can't be spoken casually. It demands readiness. And the fact that you're here right now means something. Heaven has checked your file. The universe has weighed your spirit, and God has decided you are ready to step beyond hesitation and into understanding. This is not the moment to skim past it. This is the moment to receive it, absorb it, and act. Every second you delay is potential left dormant. God's message tonight is urgent. Don't just read it. Don't just hear it. Let it enter you. Let it move through your bones. Let it settle into the quiet chambers of your heart where you've been carrying questions no one else can hear. Because the language you're about to use is designed to recalibrate your entire being, to dissolve fear, quiet ego, and open a portal that has been waiting for your awakening. And hear me clearly, this is not a chant. This is not a spell. This is not a ritual. This is a living transmission, a frequency protocol, an energetic recalibration that realigns your inner world with divine order. When you speak this language tonight, your nervous system begins to reset. Your body, your mind, your spirit starts syncing with a higher frequency, one where clarity replaces confusion, and peace begins to overtake anxiety like a tide you can finally stop fighting. The mental noise softens. The hesitation loosens its grip. The resistance starts melting, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched the signal. Think of it like tuning an instrument. When every string vibrates at the correct frequency, the music doesn't struggle, it flows. And Chosen One, you are the instrument tonight. Your mind, your heart, your soul, all of it. This protocol fine-tunes your inner rhythm to match the divine, clearing the blocks that have weighed you down for years, so what's meant for you doesn't have to fight to find you anymore. The effects are immediate, yet they run deeper than you can explain. You feel it first in your perception, then in your posture, then in the way you move through your own life with authority. It's like the world doesn't change, you change, and suddenly the world has no choice but to respond differently. This is the blueprint for transformation. It awakens what's been sleeping inside you. The ability to notice what others overlook, the discipline to rise above ego-based identities, and the courage to act from pure alignment instead of pressure, fear, or need for approval. Tonight isn't random. Tonight is rare. Tonight is a divine invitation to activate the frequency of your real self. And hear this, Chosen One. Some words carry power so intense that the unprepared cannot safely hold them. In the past, they weren't forbidden because they were evil, they were forbidden because they demand readiness, clarity, spiritual maturity. If you touch them too soon, they don't produce freedom, they produce confusion, imbalance, even fear, because the human mind isn't always ready to contain a truth that vibrates at divine frequency. These words are like fire, transformative, illuminating, and yes, overwhelming if you don't respect what you're holding. But when the soul is ready, that fire doesn't burn you. It refines you, It ignites clarity instead of chaos. And that's why this isn't a trick. This isn't a secret to hoard. This isn't something to flex. These are tools for awakening. The universe recognizes readiness. It knows when a soul has been stretched, tested, purified, and prepared and chosen one tonight. That moment has arrived for you. History is full of examples of knowledge hidden until the right generation could carry it, ancient texts sealed until the appointed time, messages preserved until the right eyes could read them without distortion. In the same way, these words are designed to unlock your potential, recalibrate your energy, and awaken you to realities most people will never experience. Their arrival tonight isn't casual. It's intentional, sacred, transformative, because fear is the currency of the old world. Systems thrive on it. Structures feed on it. Even our own internal doubts multiply when clarity is absent. Confusion is a cage, quiet, invisible, but suffocating. Keeps you stuck, anxious, reactive. It turns simple choices into heavy battles. And God's message tonight is a direct antidote to that fear, a language that restores vision and removes the fog. Because clarity doesn't just know it's feeling. It's that sudden inner understanding that what once felt impossible is now within reach. When clarity enters, fear dissolves. Hesitation loses its grip. The mind stops arguing with itself, and you begin to see the matrix of your life for what it truly is: patterns, signs, cycles, and pathways that have been trying to guide you into divine alignment all along. Tonight, clarity becomes your shield. It protects your mind from doubt, your heart from hesitation, your soul from distraction. And it becomes the first step in reclaiming authority over your life, because when fear is replaced by confidence, indecision gets replaced by insight, and resistance gets replaced by surrender. Not surrender as weakness, surrender as trust. Surrender as alignment. Surrender as power. So understand this: the language you are being called to use tonight is not casual. It is sacred. These words open doors to potentials you've only glimpsed in dreams or felt in passing moments of inspiration when your spirit whispered, "There's more." They are not magical in the shallow sense. They are transformative because they operate at the frequency of your soul, bypassing external limitations and cutting through internal resistance. Every word carries authority, ownership, acceptance, and when you speak them with intention, you are communicating directly to your higher self and to God. This is not a request. It's a declaration that you are ready to step into your full capacity to awaken abilities, insights, and understanding that have been dormant, waiting for the appointed time. Because history shows us that certain moments are gateways, and chosen one, this is one of them. Just as the ancients waited for celestial alignments to access wisdom, tonight is your alignment. Tonight is a portal. And when you speak these words, you don't just say something, you synchronize with a cosmic rhythm that has been moving toward you for a long time. It unlocks a new level of consciousness, clarity, and spiritual authority, something that doesn't fade tomorrow morning, but guides your path for years to come. This is not hype. This is not coincidence. This is timing, divine timing. And listen closely. Chosen one, God is dividing humanity into three types tonight. Not to judge anyone, not to rank anyone, but to deliver instruction with precision, because heaven doesn't speak in one-size-fits-all language. God speaks in targeted revelation, and each type receives a different internal assignment. The first type is the anxious one, the one who is constantly questioning, constantly scanning for danger, constantly overthinking, trying to control what can't be controlled. The second type is the believer, those who already trust the truths God has been whispering, even if life has tested that trust. The third type is the sign follower, the ones attuned to patterns, synchronicities, omens, numbers, dreams, and subtle shifts in the atmosphere. And each type needs a different approach, because readiness looks different in every soul. The anxious one must learn to surrender control. The believer must reaffirm trust. And the sign follower must recognize the signal and move when alignment appears. That's why God's guidance is so precise tonight, individualized, perfectly timed. Because when you understand your type, you receive the message in the way that maximizes its power, so the protocol lands deep enough to transform fear into faith, doubt into clarity, and patterns into purpose. This division is not judgment. It is divine strategy. It is heaven's way of optimizing your awakening. So if you are the anxious one, if your mind runs in loops, if you wake up carrying tension you can't explain, if you always feel like something might go wrong, tonight is your release. Tonight is your exit ramp, and you will speak these sacred words not as begging, not as a desperate plea, but as a declaration of ownership over your mind, your body, your spirit. Let each word dissolve fear. Let each sentence dismantle doubt. Let each breath anchor you into the truth that God is guiding you even when your nervous system is trying to pull you back into panic. As you speak, visualize your system resetting. The racing thoughts begin to slow. The tightness in your chest loosens. The tension melts out of your shoulders like it was never meant to live there in the first place. Clarity floods your perception. Your heart stops beating to the chaotic rhythm of fear and starts sinking to divine frequency, steady, deliberate, protected. And every utterance strengthens your connection with God and reinforces the power you've been carrying all along. This is a turning point because when you surrender anxiety and speak with authority, fear loses its permission to steer your choices. Your focus sharpens, your intuition heightens, and the path ahead becomes visible. Tonight, your worry transforms into wisdom, and your anxiety becomes a compass that points you toward growth instead of danger. And if you are the believer, if you already trust God's voice, even when it's quiet, even when it takes time, tonight is about reaffirmation and expansion. Tonight is the moment your faith becomes weighty, tangible, activated. You will speak these words with conviction, not as a mechanical repetition, but as an embodiment of what you already know is true. Let your belief vibrate through every fiber of your being. This is a night to solidify alignment, because when you use this sacred language, your nervous system and your consciousness synchronize with divine intent. The background doubts, the subtle ones, the quiet ones that hide behind logic, begin to fade. They get replaced by the calm confidence of someone who knows God's guidance is real. It is precise. It is present. And tonight, your belief stops being passive and becomes active power. Not just faith you carry, but faith that moves, faith that shapes, faith that shifts reality. Every word spoken with intention amplifies your alignment, awakens dormant potential, and strengthens your ability to navigate life from divine trust and purpose without needing constant proof, because your spirit already recognizes the signal. And if you are the sign follower, if you've been seeing patterns, feeling nudges, catching repeating numbers, sensing shifts before they happen, tonight is heightened awareness. Tonight is confirmation. These sacred words act like a lens, sharpening your perception, intensifying your discernment, and illuminating the hidden messages woven into your life. When you speak them, it's like you gain access to a higher layer of reality. You begin decoding what used to feel random. You start seeing pathways that were invisible before, opportunities that were always there but hidden until your frequency matched them. Your assignment is simple, but it is not easy. Observe and act. Pay attention to synchronicities. Notice subtle shifts in energy. Listen for intuitive nudges that feel quiet but undeniable, because those are not coincidences. Those are confirmations. They are the universe responding to your activation, recalibrating your system, repositioning you into alignment, and opening doors that only the prepared are meant to see. Chosen one, tonight is not about passively receiving information. Tonight is about becoming the kind of person who can carry revelation and move with it. Because once this protocol activates, reality starts speaking louder. The signs get clearer. The fear gets weaker. The path gets sharper, and what used to confuse you starts obeying the new frequency you've stepped into. By engaging with this language, you step into something deeper than motivation. You become a co-creator with divine guidance. You stop treating life like a series of random events and start recognizing it as a living conversation. Patterns become messages. Delays become direction. Synchronicities become confirmations. Invitations appear everywhere, calling you further into purpose. Tonight, your perception sharpens. Your intuition wakes up, and the path that used to feel foggy becomes unmistakably clear. But don't misunderstand these sacred words as magic or a charm you repeat for results. Their power doesn't come from superstition. Their power comes from authority. They operate from ownership and acceptance. When you speak them, you're not tossing a wish into the sky. You're declaring alignment. You're not asking the universe for permission. You're reclaiming what has always been yours: clarity, presence, divine resonance. And this authority is quiet, but it is undeniable. It bypasses ego. It bypasses doubt. It bypasses fear. It moves straight to the frequency of God. Like a master musician commanding an instrument, your voice becomes a tool that orchestrates transformation. Not to control the world, but to command yourself, your focus, your energy, your direction. This is power with responsibility. This is spiritual maturity. That's why this language must be used with awareness. Speak with intention. Speak with focus. Speak with reverence. Because every word activates protocols within your mind, body, and spirit that you cannot access casually. Tonight is a threshold where authority meets alignment, and the depth of your awakening will be determined by one thing: whether you treat this moment as sacred or ordinary. And here is what makes these words different. They bypass the usual rules of manifestation. They do not request, they declare. They do not wait, they act. They cut through limitation like a blade of truth. They connect your consciousness directly to divine authority while stepping around the detours of fear, ego, and hesitation. Think of it like a direct line to God. While ordinary affirmations can sometimes carry the energy of please, maybe someday, this language speaks from innate authority. It doesn't negotiate, it doesn't plead, it aligns. And when used tonight, it triggers an immediate recalibration, reshaping perception, energy, and action in ways that ordinary methods can't reach. But chosen one, this is also a profound responsibility. Words that bypass permission are not casual tools. They are sacred. They require clarity, focus, and readiness. Because when you speak them with intention, your nervous system starts to shift. Your ego steps aside. Your deeper consciousness rises to the surface. And you begin operating at the level God always intended for you, where you don't just think about change, you become change. Most teachings talk about universal law, karma, or external alignment, about adjusting your life to fit the rules of the world. Tonight is different. Tonight, this language connects you directly to God, bypassing intermediaries, bypassing external limitations, bypassing the noise. It is a direct infusion of divine frequency into your consciousness. And when you speak with authority and ownership, you synchronize your vibration with God's intent. Emotional noise fades, perception sharpens, the ego dissolves. What once required struggle, effort, and waiting begins to happen with an unfamiliar ease, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you are finally moving from a state of direct alignment. This is why tonight is sacred. Unlike ordinary moments of inspiration or meditation, the words you speak now have the power to reshape your inner and outer reality in real time. Direct alignment with God transforms thought into action, intention into experience, and clarity into wisdom that guides every step forward. And when your frequency resets tonight, the effects won't be subtle, they'll be profound. Your nervous system begins to resonate at a higher vibration, releasing stored tension, fear, and doubt. Your perception becomes sharper, allowing you to see patterns, opportunities, and truths that were always there, but hidden behind the fog. This recalibration touches every layer of you: how you think, how you feel, how you decide, how you respond, and how you move. Because once your frequency changes, your life starts answering you differently. Your performance identity, the masks you've worn to survive, the ceilings you've accepted as realistic, they begin to dissolve. And suddenly, you're not living as a reaction to other people's energy anymore. You're no longer pulled around by fear, pressure, or expectation. You become proactive, aligned, empowered. And hear me, this reset isn't slow. It isn't gradual. It's immediate. You will feel it like a clean internal shift. Clarity replacing confusion, authority replacing indecision, alignment replacing chaos. This is the moment potential becomes kinetic. This is the moment transformation stops being an idea and becomes inevitable. Tonight, the ego, the false identity built from fear, comparison, and doubt, starts dissolving. And let me be clear, this is not loss. This is liberation, because the ego doesn't protect you, it traps you. It keeps you small enough to be controlled by approval, fear of rejection, and the constant need to perform. But when the ego loosens its grip, your consciousness expands. And what rises to the surface is the chosen self that has been there all along, quiet, steady, powerful, waiting beneath the noise. The activation of this deeper consciousness awakens insight, courage, and presence. You begin to perceive reality differently. You respond with wisdom instead of reflex. You navigate challenges with the calm certainty of divine guidance. And you step into a kind of personal power that cannot be shaken by external circumstances, because it doesn't come from circumstances, it comes from alignment. Now, yes, ego dissolution is sacred. It is transformative, and it can feel unsettling, because what's dying isn't you, it's the version of you that learned to survive by shrinking. But with this frequency protocol, the process isn't chaotic. It is guided, supported, held. As fear, anxiety, and self-doubt fade, a new clarity rises. A new purpose, a deeper divine connection. And it doesn't just comfort you, it empowers you to step fully into your calling tonight. Because tonight is a portal, a rare alignment of energy, intention, and divine timing. It feels ancient because it resonates with frequencies that have existed since the beginning of creation. And it is sacred because it is not coming from the world, it is a direct gift from God. This is not something to treat casually, repeat mindlessly, or share indiscriminately. This is holy instruction. Sleep early if you can. Clear your space. Speak the words with focus. Receive the instruction fully. Because when you do, the alignment is sealed. Tonight is a threshold, cross it consciously, and you access a reality that few ever experience. Ignore it and the moment fades. Not because God abandons you, but because timing matters. And this night carries urgency, rarity. Wait, it demands respect, attention, and intentional action. God is calling you into honesty, alignment, clarity. The words you speak tonight, the surrender you make tonight, and the frequency you embody tonight, these will define your next chapter. Relief is waiting. Insight is waiting. Transformation is waiting. But only if you honor the sacred timing and step all the way into what God is opening for you. Tonight marks a divine recalibration. The limits that governed your life, the rules imposed by fear, society, and even your own doubt are being rewritten. And understand this, God is not asking permission from the world. God is not negotiating with the systems that tried to confine you. This is a reset from the highest authority. The weight that kept your spirit caged is being lifted, and freedom becomes tangible inside your consciousness. This rewriting is subtle, but it is radical. You may not see it immediately in your outer circumstances, but inside you every cell begins to hum with new possibility. Old patterns that demanded compliance, obedience, and smallness start feeling incompatible with who you're becoming. You'll notice your intuition guiding you differently. Your confidence rising without you forcing it. Your clarity expanding beyond the boundaries you used to live inside, because this is a divine renovation. Like an architect dismantling old walls to build something stronger and more expansive, God is reshaping the framework of your life from the inside out. What once felt rigid and unchangeable becomes flexible, responsive, alive, aligned with purpose, and every thought you allow tonight, every word you speak tonight, every action you take tonight participates in that restructuring. This liberation isn't a reward you earned by suffering long enough. It's a rightful reclamation. You were never meant to live small. You were never meant to live fearful. You were never meant to live constrained. God's rewrite tonight is aligning your life with your deepest truth and chosen one once that truth takes root. Nothing fake can hold you anymore. And every new rule being written inside you becomes a blueprint for freedom, authority, higher level living. Fear has ruled for far too long. It's dictated decisions. It's shaped your identity. It's negotiated your potential down into something safe. But tonight, its power diminishes because the sacred language, the frequency protocol, and divine alignment are coming together to neutralize the authority fear has held over your mind, your body, and your spirit. What used to paralyze you doesn't get to control you anymore. It becomes a guidepost, a signal, a doorway into clarity. Picture fear like a shadow. Shadows look powerful until light shows up. And tonight, your words act like divine light, cutting through illusions that made you small, hesitant, reactive. Every declaration you speak, every utterance of ownership shifts your vibration. It weakens the influence of old anxieties and the pressure of external expectations. And as fear loses its grip, your perception sharpens. You start noticing patterns you couldn't see before. Opportunities you used to miss become obvious. Truth you used to second-guess becomes undeniable. Decisions get easier. Courage starts flowing naturally because you're no longer negotiating with doubt. Your energy aligns with authority, and hesitation gets replaced by deliberate action. And yes, this liberation is permanent in its essence. Fear may try to return in small doses, but you'll recognize it instantly for what it is. Not a master, a signal, not a ruler, a vibration trying to test your alignment. Tonight is a milestone where you reclaim authority over your inner world, and divine frequency begins guiding every step, every thought, every intention without the old noise hijacking the wheel. Now listen carefully. The moment you stop justifying your existence, your path, your choices, and unseen activation begins. When you stop explaining yourself to the world, something sacred unlocks. Because energy you've been wasting defending, rationalizing, negotiating, proving gets released. And that freed energy doesn't disappear. It flows straight into your clarity, into your focus, into your power. Stop defending why you're here. Stop defending why you chose that path. Stop defending why you dream differently. Reality doesn't require your defense, and God does not need you to argue your purpose into existence. Your alignment already confirms it. The act of releasing explanations is a signal of readiness for transformation so deep, words won't fully capture it. And this doesn't only touch your thoughts, it rewires your system. Your nervous system shifts. Your emotional body unhooks from old survival patterns. Your consciousness expands. Without the weight of justification, fear dissolves and presence becomes effortless. You start operating from truth, not from fear of judgment, not from the pressure of expectation. And suddenly, every area of life begins to respond differently: relationships, opportunities, timing, and inner insight, because they respond to authenticity. They respond to alignment. The moment you stop explaining, you step fully into divine authority and the universe stops dictating terms. The frequency of God does, because hope is a soft prayer. Ownership is a declaration. And tonight, God is not inviting you to speak from need, desperation, or wishful thinking. God is inviting you to speak from certainty, the certainty of authority. Ownership shifts your vibration from maybe someday into alignment with divine intent. It signals readiness to receive what matches your highest potential. And when you speak from ownership, your energy gets rewritten. Your mind stops asking if or when, and begins moving in resonance with the certainty of God's plan. Fear and doubt lose influence because your words are not a plea. They are a statement. My life, my frequency, my alignment. Ownership awakens power in the body. Your nervous system responds with calm authority. Your heart beats with steadiness. Your perception sharpens like a blade, and opportunities begin appearing not because you chase them harder, but because the world starts interacting with your certainty instead of your hesitation. The atmosphere around you changes when you stop asking for permission to exist at full volume. Tonight, Chosen One, is where you stop surviving and start declaring. The shift from hope to ownership is transformational. Hope waits. Ownership moves. Hope reacts. Ownership initiates. Hope asks life to change. Ownership becomes the change. And tonight, every word spoken through this frequency protocol is a signal to heaven and to your own spirit that you are no longer waiting for life to happen to you. You are co-creating with God, fully aligned, fully authoritative, fully awake. But God's instruction includes something most people underestimate: restraint. Silence is not absence. Silence is sacred preparation. After tonight, what you have spoken, felt, and activated needs space to resonate without interference. Silence allows the frequency to solidify. It gives the transformation room to root itself deep inside your system, beyond emotion, beyond inspiration, beyond the moment into permanence, because what's being initiated tonight is delicate in its early stages. Not weak, sacred, and sacred things must be protected until they mature. Sharing too soon can diminish power, not because your truth is fragile, but because premature release scatters energy. Words carry vibration, intention carries charge, and when you expose something before it has anchored, it becomes vulnerable to noise, misinterpretation, doubt, outside opinions, and the subtle pull of needing validation. God knows the exact timing for revelation, insight, and impact. Silence protects the potency of what has been initiated tonight. It shelters the activation while it completes its work. And silence does something else. It turns you inward. It becomes a mirror. It gives you space to witness what alignment is doing without outside distraction. You begin to observe shifts in perception. You notice your intuition sharpening. You recognize clarity arriving in layers. Reflection deepens understanding until experience becomes wisdom. In that way, silence is not passive, it is a co-creator. It allows the sacred frequency to finish its assignment, ensuring that every shift, every activation, every recalibration becomes anchored. So the instruction is clear: honor the quiet, honor the process. Let the power manifest in divine timing, because premature expression has a hidden cost. Words spoken without full readiness can scatter energy, invite misinterpretation, and interrupt the alignment process. The cost is subtle but real: delayed transformation, partial clarity, residual doubt. The human instinct is to share, to explain, to prove, to seek confirmation. Tonight, resist that impulse. God is positioning you, not testing you. And speaking too soon risks exposure before the activation is complete, before your nervous system finishes recalibrating, before your consciousness fully awakens into what was initiated. Think of it like planting seeds. If you expose the soil too early, the roots can't anchor. But when you protect protect the process, when you keep it covered, when you let it develop in the dark, growth becomes inevitable, unstoppable, deeply rooted. Silence after speaking becomes nourishment. It embeds the energy. It strengthens clarity, confidence, and divine resonance from the inside out. And understand this isn't punishment. It's natural law. Energy responds to intention and readiness. When preserved, it multiplies. When rushed, it dissipates. So protect your activation. Guard what God is growing in you, because the reward isn't just a powerful night, it's a permanently altered life. And your body, your nervous system has been living under tension for years. Anxiety, overstimulation, survival mode. But tonight, through these sacred words and this divine alignment, your nervous system is learning a new truth. You are safe in God. You are not fighting alone. You are not bracing for impact anymore. You are being retuned into calm authority, steady presence, and a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. Tonight, chosen one, you don't just speak power. You become it quietly, deeply, and permanently. That power is safe, and control, when it comes from alignment, is not fear, it is stability. Imagine the energy of fear dissolving completely, not through force, but through understanding. In its place arrives a calm, grounded certainty. Your breath deepens without effort. Your heartbeat steadies. Your perception sharpens. Every nerve, every cell in your body begins responding to a new language, the language of ownership, certainty, and alignment with God. This recalibration changes how you move through life. Action no longer comes from anxiety. Your body no longer reacts to fear as if danger is always near. Instead, it responds to clarity as its new baseline. Tasks flow. Decisions feel clean. Interactions become effortless. Your internal system is no longer tuned to chaos, it is attuned to divine order. This is a profound gift. A nervous system that knows safety within power becomes a foundation for growth, courage, and innovation without the constant friction of doubt. Tonight, your body begins to embody strength without tension, mastery without struggle, and alignment without compromise. This is not force. This is coherence. This is what happens when authority settles into the body instead of being chased by the mind. Understand this clearly. Tonight's activation may come before visible change. Your body, your nervous system, and your consciousness align with God first before your external world catches up. This can feel disorienting because the inner shift arrives ahead of outer proof. But this is not a flaw in the process. It is the process. Think of yourself like a magnet. Once your inner frequency shifts, your outer reality begins responding naturally. Opportunities, relationships, and circumstances start moving toward resonance with who you've become. The world cannot be rushed, but it cannot resist alignment either. It will follow. Trust is essential here. You may feel lighter, more focused, more present, and yet the external world may still reflect old patterns for a moment. This is not failure. It is confirmation. It means the internal recalibration has begun, and the outer world is adjusting in divine timing. Patience is not passivity, it is confidence in alignment. Awareness keeps you steady. Continued alignment keeps the signal strong. Your inner harmony becomes a lighthouse, drawing people, situations, and outcomes that match your elevated frequency. Tonight, the seed is planted. Growth begins from the inside out. The effects of tonight are immediate, even if they arrive quietly. Relief enters not because circumstances have changed, but because you have. Your inner frequency is now aligned with God. Anxiety loosens its grip. Doubt fades into the background. Fear loses its authority. In their place comes a stabilizing clarity, calm, grounded, and unmistakable. You may notice subtle shifts in perception, energy, or emotional balance. These are signs, evidence that the sacred language and frequency protocol are activating, realigning your nervous system, and restoring natural authority over your mind and heart. This relief is not the end. It is the beginning, a prelude to transformation. As alignment deepens, synchronicities appear. Opportunities surface. Insights arrive with ease. Life begins responding to your frequency instead of your struggle, proving a timeless truth. Divine alignment always precedes external change. So take a deep breath. Honor the process. Trust what has been activated. This relief is not temporary. It is the echo of a permanent recalibration now underway. Your clarity is anchored. Your power is stable. Your alignment is sealed. And from this point forward, what moves through your life will no longer are shaped by fear, but by authority, certainty, and divine order.